Right, welcome back. A new poll finds support for Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger continues to fall. And the survey conducted by State Navigate found 47% approve of the job Spanberger is doing, compared to 47% who disapprove. Now, it comes as Spanberger has recommended significant amendments to several bills, including one that deals with immigration. So keep in mind, these bills are coming from a Democratic-controlled House and Senate. Joining us now is Bill Leidy, the former chief of staff for Governors Mark Warner and Tim Kaine. Sir, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here this afternoon.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Megan.
Thank you. And we'll start with your background as someone who has worked for two governors. Is the number of amendments Spanberger is proposing unusual? What do these changes say to you?
Well, first of all, it's the normal course of business that would happen at this point. Keep in mind that the legislature introduced 3,667 bills. They passed 1,556. She proposed amendments on 180 of them, and she vetoed 8. She vetoed 8, which means she vetoed less than 0.00514% of the bills that were introduced. Thinking back, the legislature itself only passed 31% of what was introduced, which means they did their own internal veto, either by subcommittee, committee, or by member, or by the vote of the whole, of over 60% of the bills. So the governor vetoing 0.0514% of the bills is fairly minuscule.
When you look at the numbers, yeah.
Yeah. Now, the amendments are not unusual either, I wouldn't say. The amendments that she made were to two extremely complex bills, bills that have been debated within the General Assembly for decades, quite frankly, particularly the cannabis bill. And for her to now have an opportunity to weigh in is not unusual at all, in my opinion.
Thank you, sir. And we want to get to that proposal on marijuana. But first, I also want to talk about another hot topic right now. We're seeing already responses from lawmakers to the governor's proposed amendments, to some of them specifically on bills related to immigration enforcement. And of course, for our viewers, just to look back, Spanberger in February terminated 287G agreements. In March, Spanberger maintained violent criminals in the country illegally should be deported with a signed judicial warrant. In your eyes, do her proposed amendments to some of these immigration-related bills surprise you based on that?
No, they don't surprise me at all. I know Abigail Spanberger fairly well, and I think that she's proposed some pretty solid amendments that balance things in the way that she always does.
It is fair in your eyes, some of these proposals. I did hear some of them described as minor. However, one legislator saying this really is not going to do anything. This is stripping away some of the function of what we're proposing here. What do you think about that? Down the line?
Well, as with all legislation, we have to wait and see how the implementation goes. Passing a bill is one thing, implementing a bill is a completely different thing, and it all depends on how it's implemented.
And let's get your thoughts as well on the topic you mentioned, your thoughts on Spanberger proposing pushing back the state date for the sale of recreational marijuana from January 1st of 2027 to July 1st of 2027. Your thoughts on that?
My understanding of that is that will give some of the existing businesses a better opportunity to put themselves in a competitive position by waiting for those extra months. And again, that is an amazingly complex piece of legislation that has been gone through many, many iterations, and it never hurts to delay something rather than speed it up.
And just to also draw, Bill, on your experience having gone through this with not one but two governors, you know, in regard to the pushback from lawmakers, especially lawmakers of your own party, is that something you also saw under Governors Warner and Kaine?
Oh, absolutely. And actually, I did it under 3 governors. I also was a deputy secretary under Governor Bilal's way back in the 90s, and so I was involved in bill review then as well. And yes, it's not unusual. It is very difficult for those poor young staffers who have to make a call and tell a delegate or a senator that they're going to amend their bill or veto their bill. But it's part of the process. And it's part of the process the legislators understand.
And final question for you, sir. Recent polls, they've shown Spanberger support has dropped. Your thoughts on the reason that could be behind this, and to draw on your experience with not one, not two, but 3 governors, Governors Warner, Kane, how did they react to polling numbers?
Oh, well, Megan, different governors react differently. What I would tell you is, from my experience, and this probably won't come as a surprise to too many researchers, but I would guess that if someone were to run polling numbers between male governors and female governors, the female governors would almost always rate lower than the male governors.
That would be very interesting, especially with your background, to consider how those changes could impact things currently. Former Chief of Staff Bill Leidy, thank you so much for joining us here to just share your insight on this very, as you said, complex, layered process.
Thank you for asking me, Megan.
All right, take care, sir, and stay with us. We'll be right back after this quick break.